Dear Chairman, dear colleagues, I would like to present you an approach to generalizing theory of games for application at all stages of economic evolution. My name is Viktor Ashikhmin, and I think that our conference is for John von Neumann. So I think it's interesting to highlight two facts from von Neumann life, except of many facts which already Professor Mastorakis, Rudas, with Professor Mastorakis told us. So fact one.
By the way, I learned all these things for Professor von Neumann today. I did not know myself.
So, fact one. In 1925, Professor Neumann received his PhD degree for an axiomatization of Cantor's set theory. Following him, I also used set theory in my investigations. Fact two. In 1944, Theory of Games and Economic Behavior was published by John von Neumann and Oscar Morgenstern. Following them, I also considered the theory of economic behavior. They investigate strategic interactions among rational agents, rational in economic sense, in the sense of agents' own profit. It is the economic parameters that are the boundary conditions that determine the limits of applicability of the theory of games. Remarks. First, in this article, we are not considering the theory of games itself, but the theory of rational behavior of economic subjects. And game theory is a special case of stress. And second, the purpose of the article is to formulate precisely the approach to the generalization of game theory, and not to construct the generalization itself. It is the methodology that is the proof of the correctness of the way of constructing the theory. So this methodology for me was, first, it is necessary to consider economic relations throughout history of mankind, from the emergence of economic relations in the past to future forms of economic relations. Second, it is necessary to establish a criterion that determines precisely the development, qualitative leaps of economic relations. Third, using this single universal criterion, build an exhaustive list of the main forms of the development of economic relations. Fourth, specify for which forms of economic relations game theory is applicable and for which is not. And the last one, indicate the main features of the theory of rational behavior for those forms of economic relations for which the theory of games is not applicable. Methods and basic hypotheses of studying the phenomena of development of economic relations. Dialectics as a method describes the changes in the form of a certain phenomenon through their own internal contradictions into specific forms that overcome, dialectically remove previous opposites. Hypothesis. The elementary form of the phenomena, the economic relations, is the impact and appropriation. The contradiction, the cause for the development of economic relations is the property independence of the parties in economic relations. The purpose of development is to dialectically remove the property of independence. So agents or parties becomes dependent, not independent, but dependent. So the elementary form is impact and appropriation. You know, everybody knows that men, they impact, but ladies appropriate. It's a joke, sorry. Yeah, so we suppose that relation between human and nature is pre-economic relations. It means pre-tools, individual labor, and pre-human. That time everything was exclusively natural, no synthetics at all. And pre-economic relations develop to the economic ones with the dialectic law of negation of negation. Theory of evolution of the pre-economic relations is based on identifying 4 stages of pre-economic relations. Step-by-step removal of the independence property. First, independent impact and appropriation. Second, interrelated impact and appropriation, exchange. Third, bunches of exchanges, distribution, concentration. And fourth, pre-production. It means nets of pre-economic relations. It's a sum of all above mentioned types. So we're ready to start a new era of artificial tools and artificial intelligence. Evolution of pre-economic relations into economic relations. It means first, transition from the human-nature relations to a human-human relations. So from exclusively individual private labor to cooperation. In political economy, we use term nature, but nature is not nature around us and is not a well-known magazine in which everybody wants to publish the article. It's not that a nature. This is a nature in political economy means a characteristic of the concept. So private nature or public nature. And second, transition from a natural tool to a tool produced by other tools. So you can see here first artificial gadget in the earth, not mobile phone, you see. So I plan to consider following scheme between economic agents or subjects. Subject 1 and subject 2 interact within the framework of the specified forms: impact, appropriation, exchange, distribution, concentration, and production. And each form could be with private nature or public nature, or in terms of management system, authoritarian nature or democratic nature. So we've got from that 4 pre-economic relations, types of pre-economic relations, we've got following evolution of economic relations at all, where IER, initial economic relations, PR, private nature, SOC, public nature. So you can see types from 1 up to 16, different kind of types of economic relations. All these types can be divided into 4 divisions. First, you can see a fully private nature, all private. It means 100% authoritarian management system. Then partially private nature. Third, partially public nature. And fourth, absolute public economic relations. It should be noted that for systems of economic relations that have the private nature, the theory of games is applicable. Private nature means competition. For systems of economic relations that have the public nature, the theory of games is not applicable and should be improved. Public nature means cooperation instead of competition. Cooperation means common goals. It is interesting to know that absolutely public economic relations and the corresponding universally democratic management system are an ACAF's purposeful system. Its evolution is the eternal striving for the ideal. Traditionally, in political economy, the types highlighted in the table, that 16 types, are called formations. In today's historical realities, it is not difficult to notice in any state the phenomena of almost all types of initial forms of economic relations and their corresponding management systems from type 1, for example, families, to type 16, communes, or, for example, in Israel, kibbutz. An example of developing a theory of rational behavior for public economic relations. Further calculations don't very important. It just a show the possible approach to express the matter. So we denote the utility of commodity A as one expression, then the utility of product A in terms of product B in another expression, so on and so on. I just show that there is an approach to express all above said. So I think it's just show that it could be done, this job. And another form of expressions of the same concepts of utility of goods, exchanges, and so and other forms is the form of theory of sets, like von Neumann have done. So we can introduce sets of subjects, sets of objects, and so on and so on. And final utility is a Cartesian of two sets, expression 28. Cartesian means multiplication of sets. And conclusions. The theory of rational behavior of subjects should include theory designed to develop decisions in the condition of the public nature of economic relations, what is in contrast with competition idea by von Neumann. Second, the concept of rational behavior for public relations acquires the features of planning rather than competition. We have some problems on this way. First, formulating of the concept of the utility of product E for the whole community, not for one agent, but for utility for community. Second, utility is not an immanent property of product A, but depends upon time, place, and other things. Third, method of finding optimum is a problem of enormous dimensions with million and million products. It's very, very hard, very complex problem. Another aspect of the generalization of the game theory is the removal limitation of the concept of money as a universal transferable numerical utility. Direct calculation of the exchange of one product for another becomes possible with full accounting of current commodity exchange. It means global access to information and global access to computing power becomes money not so important, let's say. The specific form of economic relations, one of 16, plays a decisive role in shaping the decision-making process and rational actions of the actors involved. Thank you for your attention.
F10.
F10.